the clash, you're probably thinking about this video. This is the video that the corporate media outlets broadcasted to the public, which shows what appears to be anti-Kiev protesters firing on Maidan protesters on May 2nd. Open and shut case, right? These guys brought this on themselves. If you just saw this clip, that would be the obvious conclusion. However, this isn't the only clip that we have. We have quite a bit of footage that the mainstream media isn't showing you, and that footage tells a very, very different story. Here's that same scene with the shooter videotaped from a different angle. Now pay close attention to the people he's with. The red armbands these guys are wearing are supposed to symbolize the anti-Kiev contingent. In particular, pay attention to this man in the brown jacket. Also take note of this padding that he's carrying in his right hand. This guy with the brown jacket is important, and you'll see why when we show you the next clip. This next clip I'm going to show you first at normal speed, then we're going to slow it down and freeze frames to point out important details.
Пострадал начальник милиции общественной безопасности Fuchedzhy. У него ранение в руку. Полковник Fuchedzhy с окровавленной рукой, ему оказывается помощь на месте.
Now, if we freeze this frame, the man in the back of the ambulance that invites the police officer to get in looks an awful lot like the shooter. But this is a very brief scene and the image isn't clear enough to hang a case on it. However, what we see next is very clear. Remember the man with the brown suit and the odd padding that was in the contingent that was firing on the protesters? Here he is again, helping a police officer get into that ambulance, carrying that masked man. Notice the men with red armbands with him. It turns out we have lots of images and footage tying the police to this provocation. The officer being escorted to the ambulance was photographed and videotaped from multiple angles. Witnesses have identified him as Colonel Fuchedzhy. Here we see him and other police consulting with masked men who are presenting themselves as anti-Kiev protesters. Here we have an unidentified officer giving instructions to a group of these masked men. Why would the Ukrainian provisional government work with thugs presenting themselves as the opposition? Why would they stand by and allow these thugs to escalate the situation by firing into the crowd and then flee the scene with them? Doesn't that strike you as a little bit odd? This is a very old tactic. The technical term, which has been in use since the 1870s, is agent provocateur. That's French for provoking agent. Authorities use agents provocateurs when they want to manufacture a justification for a crackdown against their opponents.